mood today. I think I'll play Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Aw, Robert left me a note. It's... what? Liz, you are the love of my life. But if I come home and catch you playing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle one more time... Anyway, your game is locked away in a secure location so you can detox. Know that I do this because I care about you, and also because "blah" is not a real word. Love, Robert. Oh, blah! Where did he put my game? I know, it's in his toolbox. He leaves me no choice. I'm going to have to pick the lock. That's the lock he put on his toolbox? Have I just gone steampunk? Alright. Triplock is a game about picking locks, set in a dystopian steampunk world. You'll be playing as a lovable rogue who will crack each safe that stands in her way, using her prodigious memory and peerless wit to manipulate locking mechanisms and bend them to her will. Anyway, solo games of Triplock pit you against increasingly difficult challenges, which are presented to you on numbered cards. In this case, I'll need to get 3 mechanisms, the gear, the padlock, and the code, in order from left to right in the visible area of the lock. This 4th slot, furthest to the right, is hidden. The bad news is that I don't have complete control over the actions I take in this game. I need to roll dice to see which options are available to me each turn. Fortunately, if I don't like either of my dice, I can spend both of them to perform any one action that I want. Also, depending on how I use this skill bead, I can save up to earn extra actions on a turn. Each room has its own rules. In this case, I need to get a gear, a padlock, and a code in order from left to right, and I need to do that before the room wins. The room goes first on each turn, and each of the 4 mechanism stacks will rotate. Next, I have to remove the failsafe, or the top brown chip, from the hidden mechanism. If there is no failsafe, I have to flip the stack and remove the failsafe on the other side. If there is no failsafe to remove, then I fail my attempt at breaking this lock, and the room wins. As stated in the rules, the room goes first. And what that means is we need to first rotate all 4 mechanism stacks. So I'll just hold this off to the side, over, 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 down. Next, I need to remove the failsafe from the hidden mechanism. So let's find out what's under this baby. Okay, so here we have a pull, and that is gonna mean that we know that the things that we need are on these chips. So you actually have a mechanism guide. On the other side of a pull is a push. And because I need a gear, a padlock, and a code, I don't need either a push or a pull for this particular task. So I already know that all my pay dirt is somewhere over here. All right, let's roll the dice and see what my options are. Okay, so my first option is great. I can peek at any 2 mechanisms and their failsafes. This die allows me to reveal, conceal, or alter any diagram. So you draw a diagram for every round you play, but the purpose of a diagram is to allow you to earn points, and that's not actually necessary for this room. So it's something that we'll talk about when we need to. So one of my dice is useless, great. But this other one, I definitely want to peek at any 2 mechanisms and their failsafes. That seems like something good to do to me. So let's have a look. Our first one, okay, so this is a key. And we know from this reference in the other side of the key is the code. So I know that I need to flip this stack and get it to be over here and not over here in relation to these other 2 stacks. Let's look at the next one. Okay, we have a padlock. Okay, that's good, because we know that we need a padlock to be in the middle for our lock to be in the correct sequence for us to crack it. So what that means is that this die needs to be flipped and put here. This is either going to be the gear or the spring. I'm not sure yet because I haven't had a chance to look. But these 2 stacks will switch, one or both will flip, and this one can stay right where it is. And they'll be rotating through, so I'll have to deal with that as well, but we'll handle it when we get there. There is one final thing I can do in my turn, and that's use my skill bead. So you can deploy your skill bead in different ways to give you some advantages on either your current turn or on succeeding turns. So I don't need points this round, but if I wanted to wait 2 turns and get 2 points on the third, I could put my skill bead here and just advance it once per turn. I can put my skill bead here, and then next turn I can move it and get a second action, which means I can basically roll a third die and see what I get. Or if I wanted something in the hidden mechanism right now, Axe Derringer, the character I'm working with right now, has a special skill. So if I place my skill bead on him, when I'm swapping mechanism stacks, I can swap with the hidden mechanism. So I may be using that skill later in this round. You can also put your skill bead on reset, but that's really for competitive play. It forces the other player to also reset their skill bead and lose any progress that they were making on their own skills. For now, I'm going to put my skill bead right here so that I can maybe make use of an extra action on a future turn. All right, let's advance to round 2. Room goes first. So we'll rotate all of the locking mechanisms. And now we need to remove the top failsafe from this stack, which is good because it's actually the one I didn't peek at last turn. Okay, so we're dealing with a spring. What that means is that the one that I need, the gear, is actually on the other side. So at some point I'm gonna have to figure out how to flip this baby and get what I want, which is on the other side of the mechanism. All right, now it's my turn. Let's give the dice a roll real quick. Okay, so I have a flip action right here, and that's really useful. This one is disarm any visible failsafe and draw a new diagram, which I don't need another diagram. I don't really need to disarm any failsafes either. So let's just kind of leave that die alone and see what we can do with our skill bead in a minute. But for flipping, that's definitely something that I'm interested in doing. So remember how we found the key under here last time? On the other side of the key is the code, which is something that I actually need to crack the lock in this room. So I'm going to use this flip action to flip this stack because I know for sure that the code is on the other side. Now let's figure out what to do with this useless die. The good news for me is that I actually can use my skill bead this turn for an extra action, which means I can re-roll this die that I just used and see what I get. Okay, so I got another thing that I don't need, but now I have 2 dice, and I can spend both of these dice to take one action that's any action that I want. And of course I need to remove the skill bead and start again on a new skill track next turn. So I have 2 dice, and I know that that will allow me to swap any visible mechanism stacks. And the reason this is going to be a useful thing for me to do is because I know that the code is here. But what I want is to have gear, padlock, and code all in order. The gear is here. It's going to come around next turn. So what I'd really like to do is leave the code here, put the padlock over here, so that everything that I want to work with next turn will be exposed and visible to me, and I can hopefully manipulate it and then solve the lock. All right, now it's round 3. So let's advance this round tracker so we don't lose track, and we're going to rotate again. So this one will go on the other side. All right, so now there's no failsafe on this side. So what you do is you flip this stack and remove the other failsafe. So if this stack were to enter the hidden mechanism again with no failsafe able to be removed, I would lose the round. But we're just not going to worry about that right now. I think we have this. All right, let's see what the dice give me this time around. Okay, well this is actually great. They give me flip any one visible mechanism stack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to declare that I'm ready to solve this lock. So let's see if I did it right, or if my memory has failed me and I just totally tanked this challenge. All right, so I need a gear, a padlock, and a code. We have a gear, padlock, code. This room is conquered, and we have won this round of Triplock. Oh, score. Let's find out my game in here. Wow! There's my game. Take that, Robert. Wait, is that a ring box? The ring box is locked too? So now I have a new room with a new goal. I need to earn 5 points. Then I need to solve this lock in 8 rounds or fewer, or the room wins. It's a combo lock, and from left to right, I need a spring, a push symbol, a cat, apparently, and some levers. So the room rules are still a normal setup, but now the room goes second. And basically, any fail-safes that I disarm, which means removing the brown chip from the mechanism so I can see what's under there, will be placed on the card rather than me gaining them myself. And that's going to affect the kinds of points I can earn with the diagram. And then on the room's turn, stacks will rotate. And then if there is a failsafe that's been removed, I either flip the mechanism so the other side is blocked by a failsafe, or if there isn't one at all, then I add one from among the failsafes that I've already removed. So basically, I'm always going to be covering my mechanisms back up for this round. So let's see what this round brings us. We'll be getting back in round 1. And as you can see, I've drawn a diagram and I've chosen which side of the diagram I want to try to complete. So you may remember me saying before, I only get to choose one side. I can't just do whatever. I've decided that this is what I'm going for. And if I wanted to change that, I would have to actually take an action to rotate my diagram or draw a new one. All right, so in this scenario, we go first. Let's roll our dice and see what we get. Okay, so I got a not very exciting reveal, concealer, alter diagram. I don't need to do anything. I'm good with this diagram right now. I did, however, get peek at any 2 mechanisms and their fail-safes, and that is awesome. So why don't we just peek at the first 2 mechanisms. Let's see what we get. All right, so for this one, we have a padlock. Okay, so as we know, the other side of the padlock is the levers, and we do need levers to complete this particular lock, so I need to remember that those are there. And let's also have a look at the next one. Ooh, a push. Okay, and I'm going to need that for both this and my diagram. So let's definitely remember where that one is. And I guess that's pretty much all I can do. I'm going to put my skill bead right here so that I can push for another action next turn. Now it will be the room's turn. So let's see. On the room's turn, all 4 mechanism stacks rotate. So just rotate. 2, 3. Do this. And then that will be round 2. All right, let's have a roll of the dice and see what we get this time. Ooh, okay. So I have 2 options to flip a stack. Do I want to flip either of these at this point? Let's think about that. Yes, I do. Because I need to turn the padlock into the levers. So which one was the padlock? It would have been this one. So I do want to use 1 die to flip this stack. So I know that that says what I'm going to need it to say later. Also, it's good for this lock, for this diagram as well as for the lock. So that's a good choice. So I'll use that. And then let's just re-roll it to see what we get, because I want to use this action +1. Okay, it's a swap. I don't really know what I want to swap yet. So I'm going to actually pay these 2 dice and do another peek action. So I know it's here. I know what's here. So let's figure out what's under this one. Ooh, it's a spring. Okay, that's really good. So I actually, in fact, need a spring first for this particular lock, but I also need the push and the key for my diagram, which I have to get before I can solve this lock. And I need the spring, the push, and the levers, which I now know where all of those are, for the lock itself. So let's see, after another couple rounds, if I can make this happen. But first, the room's gonna have its turn. Everything's gonna rotate. And the skill bead comes off, and we are in round 3. All right, so let's roll our dice and take some actions. Okay, so we got another peek. That's actually not a bad thing, because I know this is the spring, this is the lever, that's the push, and this is either the code or the key. So I need to figure out which one of those that is so that I can get to completing this diagram, so I can then get to completing this lock. So let's figure out what it is. Okay, this is a code. So what that means is that I need to flip this in order to be able to kind of get where I'm going with this diagram. Unfortunately, I just have peeking. I don't know, let's just use that, since we're here, let's just use the peek action to make sure that I'm right about stuff. So because you know you have to use your memory in this game. So that is the spring. That is the lever. Okay, so we know that we have code, spring, lever, push for right now. Now it'll be the room's turn, so everything will rotate. I did not mean to do that. And now we're in round 4. If I don't get this done by round 8, we do not win this game. So hopefully something will come up very soon. Okay, so it was code, spring, lever, push. Pretty sure. So hopefully that is right as I continue with round 4. I had meant to put my skill bead here last turn. We're just going to pretend I did that a little bit earlier. Okay, let's roll these dice for round 4. What are we going to get? Okay. This isn't anything that exciting. Ugh. Okay. So I don't really like either of the things that I got for right now. Let me use this action to roll basically a 3rd die. So let's just use this as a dummy. So I have these 2 that I don't want, and let's see what I get. Ooh, a flip. Okay, a flip is pretty awesome. I definitely need to flip one. I need to flip the one that is code so that it will be the one that is key. I think that's this one. Please let me be right. Because if that's true, then I'll have push, key, spring. And what that means is that I can solve this diagram. So I'm actually going to do that right now. Oh dear God, let this be right. Okay. Push. Key. Oh yes, spring. All right. Okay, so that's awesome. That puts this diagram is complete, and Axe is now at 5 points, which is what I needed to solve this lock. So everything just goes back where it was, and we're just going to continue to keep working on this lock. So everything will rotate one more time. And let's see what we can get done here in round 5. All right, so I'm in an interesting position because what I really need is to get spring, push, and levers from left to right. And I know that the spring is here, and this is key, and this is push, and then there are the levers. So what I really want is to eventually get it to where the spring is here, and then the push and the levers are like switched. So let's, you know what? This is risky. I'm gonna not do anything this round. I'm just gonna let the room rotate. Which puts the spring right where I want it. And then I just need to switch these 2. So knowing that, I can just roll the 2 dice. I actually got a swap, but even if I hadn't, I could have just spent 2 dice to do that. And then I'm just going to declare this lap. So we have spring, push, levers. Yes. Okay, so this room is now defeated. And in a normal solo game of Triplock, we would just move on to the next. But I will actually stop here and let you discover further surprises for yourself. Ha! That lock was no match for me. Let's see if I can get an early peek at my 7th anniversary present.